Josh asked, if you were coming up through grassroots racing on a budget, such as something like Hyundai Excels and sim racing, with the goal to make it into GT3 racing, what would you focus on or prioritize most to give yourself the best chance? Now, this is a really interesting question because there's quite a few things to it. So I would say there are three main things that you need to focus on. The first thing is obviously your skill set as a driver. Focus on doing things that prioritize your long-term development as a driver, as opposed to things that will just benefit you in the short term. And what I mean by that is, if I take an example from my first year in GT3, it was a new car, and I was learning a lot in that season. Now, an example was, it was I believe the second last round of the year at Valencia. The practice session was wet, but sort of like this, it was sort of an in-between wet, where it was not quite dry enough for slicks yet, but it was getting close. So what I asked the engineer was, I said to him, I said, look, this is a practice session. There's no point me going out there and going on wets and trying to set the fastest lap time, right? It doesn't, but like, sure, it would be nice to see my name at the top of the leaderboard, but it doesn't benefit me anything in the long term. What I want to do is I want to go out there on slicks, because there's going to be times in my racing career where I'm going to need to drive on a circuit that is too wet for slick tires, but it's not beneficial to lose all that time in the pit stop. Now, funnily enough, the very next round, championship deciding round, exactly that situation happened in the race. In the last race of the season, championship decider, exactly that happened. We started on slicks and then it rained, but we didn't want to pit before the pit window, so there was still a couple laps to go. And I ended up taking the lead of the race in that situation, because I had done things in the past that had prioritized developing my skill set as a driver, as opposed to just trying to fuel my ego and go fastest in a practice session. The second thing is build your profile.